gonna love this.
I want to hear it. I'm objective. You're critical.
Anico at the disco.
He's positive. Join the Mixtape 615.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday,
It is the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville.
forever. Tunji.
Austin.
Logan.
Mixtape.
All right.
That's right, everybody.
Yep. I absolutely hated that. I do not have kids like y'all. I am a single bachelor, y'all. So I do not know what that is.
Great. That is our intro tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Mixtape 615 podcast, brought to you by the Mixtape 615 supporter group, the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville and all of soccer and all of the world. You want to jump in with us. We know you do because you love Bluey just like we do.
I don't. And
if you do want to jump in with us, make sure you go to mixtape615.com. That is mixtape615.com and jump into the mix where you can run this pitch with us tonight. We have a lot of soccer news with Real Madrid making sure they paid off the refs correctly. To making
that's the news.
There you go. To the possibility of Nashville's head coach being at the stadium this last week. And we definitely want to talk about Messi having his struggles and frustrations with dropping points in their last game. But let's bring it all back to Nashville because there's definitely a game rewind we got to get to. Austin, take it away.
We had a 2-1 loss, unfortunately, to New England Revolution. It was their third win of the season. We had a couple penalties. One went through for Hani, one did not. So, Tunji, tell me, initial reactions that you had to that match.
How low can we go? How low can we go, bro? Losing to the worst team in the league, man. Let me put it this way, dude. Like the two goals, like, all right, Carlos Gill, he just took advantage of god awful defending at the top of the box. I mean, pretty much the same way Messi did in the Leagues Cup. It's just someone said that earlier. I think it was I don't know who said it, but they said that it reminded them of that Messi goal, and I looked at it again. I was like, he's right. It was a great goal. Yep. Don't get me wrong, Carlos Gill. That was a great goal, and that's a hard one to stop.
Absolutely,
you got to defend. Esmir, Barakatovic. That's
about as good as that. It's his first MLS goal. Congrats!
It's his first MLS goal on us, on Joey, kid. On Big Joey. But that kid is good, dude. He's good. That was a great goal. Look, when you play 3 games in 7 days, it's just expect you're gonna drop one. It's tough. It's not easy. I hate that it had to be against. I mean, would you trade a FC Cincinnati win for New England Revolution win? Well, would you or a loss?
No.
Would you take those? Would you take
I would
what
not
we got?
swap those. I'll take what I got because the manner in which we lost. I don't think it was as bad if you look at, tail of the tape. If you just look at the score and you look at the records, then yeah, that's a bad loss. But if you look at the tail of the tape, you look at the stats, I don't think that it was as bad as a lot of people were talking about. And
I completely disagree with you.
Yeah,
I think when you look at the stats, it was terrible.
Is this the worst loss in Nashville SC history? I don't know if it was. Sorry.
Also, I think Tunji has a good point there because I think I would disagree as well because of the way that the stats have, like the way that the stats were. I think the goal conversion or expected goal rate, the XG, our expected goals were 3.25 versus their like 1.4 or something like that. Like we should have had way more. Our time in their final third much higher. Our goals, our shots on goal, we had 26. Like, why?
We had 26 shots, 5 shots on goal.
Or excuse me, 26, but 5 shots on goal. It's, again, we've got so many, like, we have such a higher rate of of play that we had available to us in that final third that we didn't capitalize on. So I would agree with Tunji. I can understand what you're saying is that the stats show and the tape shows, yeah, we were down there. We had some really solid chances. It was kind of back and forth. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, we're not converting. And that's why it's such a horrible loss.
Yes,
but is
we're
it
not
the
converting,
worst
but
loss? Is it the worst loss in Nashville?
I don't
it's
think
definitely
that's
up
the
there
worst.
with
It's
us.
the worst loss, and this is why, because you look at those stats, because you look at what Nashville is doing right now. We got points 2 games in a row in a like Tunji was saying, 3 games in 8 days. We're also with an interim head coach. We've trying to figure out what our identity is right now, and yet we controlled the game the whole time. And so I don't know if that is a Nashville SC worst loss in Nashville SC history. I think that it was a really, really good showing that Nashville SC didn't capitalize on, that the players didn't capitalize on those chances. So it's not a terrible loss. It was a player's loss. I don't put this one on Roomba. It was a player's loss. However, I don't put that one up there. It's not even our worst loss of the season. You've got the LAFC loss. You've got the Miami loss. I would not put this one anywhere close to worst loss.
Yeah, but it's frustrating though, man. Like I was frustrated, dude. Like Logan, you and I were sitting over in the chaos corner, and you could see it.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, just like, how are we not like converting? Like it's and maybe I'm asking too much
the whole time.
I mean, maybe I'm asking too much, but like when I see like how often they're in the opponent's they're in the attacking final third, when I see how many times they were just kicking the ball at goal, whenever it'd be a lot of bodies in the goal, and they were just kicking it, and it just looks like this is soccer. This is soccer, guys. Like, we complain all the time and we cry all the time about not like about games when we don't score, but like, dude, this is soccer, man. You can have 26 shots, 5 on goal, and the opponent can have a point, what is it, 6-4 expected goal rate, and you can walk out of there 2-0. I'm not even counting Honey's penalty. I'm not even counting the penalties because there's so many other chances that they could have. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it, man. I don't even want to talk about the fact that Hani missed a penalty or got it blocked. Was the goalkeeper just
fact
on
that
one?
we were at a point where we needed Hani to bury 2 penalties doesn't look good for us as our attackers. Sam Surge has not been looking good as of late. After his hat trick, he's actually taken a big.
I mean, you say that Sam Surge took a shot in the second minute. He had a header, towards goal in the second minute.
It wasn't on goal.
It was towards goal.
That's bro.
It was the direction that the goal is, but
it was about 8 inches off net, and it was really upsetting because you saw it was like right there. But then Hani had that other chance, that he had in that final third of theirs.
Hit off
I think
the
it was
post.
like in the 77th or 88th minute, something like that. Yeah, it hit off the post, and there were like 5 other shots in that same progression, and I'm like, man, one of those has to go. Like,
now we talk about
none of them.
We've been talking about our attack, but I want to talk about our defense for a second. Let's look at the goals that they had. The one was a break that Hani had a bad turnover, and then they went off to the races. But
Hani trying to be fancy.
Walker Zimmerman, I don't think is fully healthy. We know he's not. We know he's not back on defense. If he comes up to help on set pieces or anything like that, he is struggling to get back into his position. The first man back on that was Sean Davis. Dan Lovitz was struggling to get back. Jack Mayer was struggling to get back. But even when they did get back, that second goal should not have happened. If you look at like the goals that they had, they were good shots, but they were both shots that shouldn't have ever made it on net. Joe shouldn't have had to try to make those stops, because if you look at the first goal, Dan Lovitz waited, nobody pressed. Carlos Gill waited for it, and then
they weren't expecting him to shoot, which is just characteristic
Dan Lovitz
of Nashville,
initially, when Carlos Gill initially got the cross, Dan Lovitz was deciding on who he was going to guard. He should have pressed immediately, cut off the man, and they don't either get a cross or they don't get a shot on net because he's not making that run. So I don't know what you guys saw from our defense, but Logan, just tell me what you saw this match from. I know we talk about the chances that we didn't create or that we didn't finish. But talk to me about the defense. What did you see from them?
Well, I mean, I saw a defense that had 2 players that are getting called up to national that are ready to go. I saw guys that looked like they were kind of in that senioritis. They're ready to get out of here to go play for their national team. And that was frustrating. On top of that, you see a Joe Willis that it almost looked like he didn't try on a couple of those chances. He got lucky on 1 or 2, but like the first goal that was scored, it looked like it was an afterthought for him to reach up. His knees were still way bent down, like he wasn't jumping for it. It didn't look like he was actually trying to reach.
I don't think he was ready for that shot.
Yeah,
I keep saying, like, they caught him off guard. The shot caught him off guard.
And how? He was down in position. How did it catch him off guard? He was ready. He was
they didn't
right
respect
there.
their
it was
opponent
in front of him, and that's what I think it truly boils down to.
I think the second
they saw it as an automatic win. And
the second goal was more on Joe Willis because I think he was more expecting the pass than the shot. So he wasn't paying not paying attention. He was paying attention, but I don't think he was ready for that shot. But Tunji, I mentioned it earlier, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I mentioned that I felt like this one was a player's loss, not a loss on the management. So what did you think about Roomba managing this team?
I'm up on Roomba, man. I honestly am, and I think it's just because we both have long dreads, and that's I can't go against another dreadhead brother, man. I can't do it. But I am enjoying very much the mentality that the players are having to get up and keep taking all these shots that we've been seeing in the last couple of games. I'm thinking there's some whiplash in terms of they're trying to reconcile this new kind of like, let's go all out in the offensive end, let's take more risks with the, I don't want to call it brainwashing, but Gary Ball it's a hard thing to let go of, man. They're like, when you're used to being someone who's like, dude, we've gotta sit back and defend. We gotta sit back and defend. That as a player, that's a mental, like, that's muscle memory. You know what I'm saying? So like they're kind of caught between two different ideologies. And right now we're seeing like, stuff like them freezing in front of the box when Carlos Gill has the ball and takes that. Yeah. It's a beautiful shot. Yeah. But they didn't put any pressure on him. They're currently trying to figure out, like, am I going to be always defense or 80 offense, 30 deep? Like that's what I feel like is happening.
You think they're
they're having an identity
because they're not
crisis?
used to taking that many shots?
They're having an identity crisis. Yeah, I think they're right now. They're just like, well, who are we? But let me say this, bro. This loss will come back to bite us, bro. Mark my words, man. Like, we're looking at a season where, at this point, to me, every game matters. Every goal, every shot, every point we can scrape out matters right now because of the precarious situation that we're in. No coach, identity shift, all of that. So this loss, I'm telling you, man, it'll come back to haunt us.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first match that Roomba did not get points in, so we'll see it. We'll also have to see what the next head coach search continues. We'll see what comes of that, but we're gonna move on. Coming up next, we're going to be talking a little bit of a fan favorite with our play, skip, repeat. So stick around. You don't want to miss that. Hey, Mixtape 615, are you ready for the 2024 season? We want you to join us. Join our supporters group. It is the dopest supporters group in all of Nashville. So sign up right now at mixtape615.com and rock your 2024 membership scarf so you can show off and say, we run this pitch. Imagine standing on the field, feeling the energy of the game close up, all of the energy of the stadium. That's a reality for our members. You can get on-field opportunities, plus get access to our tailgates where you'll bond with fellow fans over great food, soccer passion, and don't miss out on our epic away game watch parties. So sign up now, mixtape615.com, and join for the 2024 season.
We are talking some play, skip, repeat. It is a fan favorite. We love talking to you. And just to give you a little bit of a reminder, if you're brand new, what this is all about, we talk about the players, the style, the team, what we want to see again, what we want to see come out, and then what we don't want to see ever. And so it is just a little play, skip, repeat. So Tunji, why don't you go ahead and start us off with this?
Yeah, you're not going to like what I got to say, bro. Let me just go ahead and preface it.
All right, what are you going to start
go ahead
with?
I'm going to start with my play.
All right.
I don't have one. I don't have a play.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah, I don't have one. I don't want to see that ever. I don't want to see anything that I saw ever again. Or there wasn't anything. Sorry. I have a repeat, but I don't have a play. And the reason I don't have a play is that the whole thing was a letdown. The whole thing was a letdown from the first phase of the game to the final phase. The whole thing was a letdown. Here's my skip. 3 games in 7 days. It makes us look like fools. I don't want to skip that, bro. Like, this is the eternal question with soccer. Skip the schedule. This is the eternal question with soccer. We talked about all last year. How many games are these players going to play? How many games? Yep. This is why we're not in Open Cup. And we're still facing sort of the same issue. Supposedly. We're still facing sort of the same issue. But I'll tell you what, man. When you have that, I keep saying them, when you have that many games in that many days, you end up losing to the worst team in the league. I'm not going to look at that result and say, well, Nashville is worse than New England. New England just, they got lucky. They got lucky. Here's my repeat. I actually have something of substance for y'all.
All right.
The aggressiveness on the offensive side, keep it up. I like it. 26 shots, I like it. 5 shots on goal, I love it. 64% off possession rate. Is that where we're at?
We were pretty high.
Yeah, it was a high possession rate. That's the type of soccer I like. I like that possession game based soccer. That's why I like to see.
77 passes.
Yeah.
Big possession game.
Yeah. 63% possession. I think it was 483 passes completed. Like, I like that. Repeat that. Keep going with that. You know what you need to fix though? The lackadaisicalness on the defensive end. Stop losing your head out there, man. You think you got Carlos Gill playing tic-tac-toe in the middle of our defensive third? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh yeah. All right, Austin, give it to me, man. Your play, skip, repeat.
All right, my play. It's got to be Taylor Washington. Dan Lovitz is not the answer on the left back. He is not the answer. I mentioned he's not my skip, but he was very close to being my skip this week. But Dan Lovitz is not looking great on as left back right now. He's not. His crosses aren't looking great. His through balls aren't looking great. And then on the defensive end, he's playing that wing back more than the full back. He's trying to press forward because he did that for so much because we were playing 3 across the back most of the season. And now we switched back to this back 4. And I don't think he remembers how to play that position. But right now, if you look at that Carlos Gill, like I said, the initial hesitation that I saw from him, I think is the result of that goal. And so Dan Lovitz is my skip. I think that Taylor Washington earned the start early in the season, and I don't know why we ever went away from that. We talked because
he had terrible games. He had terrible games. That's why we went away from it.
He did. I mean, he might have had one.
He had some bad games. He had some bad games against Miami. He had some bad games against.
The whole team had a bad game against Miami. You can't
but his was especially bad. It was especially bad.
But Dan Levitz is my skip. Or sorry,
repeats?
Taylor Washington is my play. Dan Levitz was almost my skip. My skip is actually going to be Sam Surridge. And it's not a skip for Teal Bunbury. I don't know if Teal Bunbury is, maybe we go small ball. We, just play a false nine, do something like that. But since his hat trick, since Sam Surridge's hat trick, he has had one shot on net in the last 6 games. He is our striker with only one shot. The 8 games prior to that, he had 1 or more shots on net. So he's just taken, I don't know if it got in his head. He got this big ego, and then, or if people caught on to him after that hat trick, or what's going on. But Sam Surridge is not the same right now. Maybe he just needs to take a quick break. I'm not saying skip forever, but maybe he just needs to take a rest. Maybe this break will actually be good for him, and he'll be fine whenever we come back on the 15th. But Sam Surridge just needs to get his head back in the right space. I don't know if it's management. I don't know if he actually liked Gary Smith and the Aruba's not really coaching him well, or if he's just not responding well to the coaching. So I don't know what it is, but I think we need him to get back to that style that he was playing earlier. But my repeat is actually Roomba. I am loving the way that he is actually managing. I know Tunji said last section he's actually up, and I'm here for it. I really like the subs that he made. The only one that we might have kind of questioned was the Schaffelberg, but other than that, he subbed at the right times, and he subbed the right subs at the right times. When we were pushing for another goal, he put in a second striker. He didn't take Sam Surridge out for Teal Bunbury that we saw so many times with Gary Smith do. He actually put an extra striker and took out a midfielder to try to make that push for that second goal. So I like what I'm seeing from him. I think he's making the right subs at the right times, and he's not waiting till the 85th minute to make a sub. So I think we were at the 50th minute when he made his first sub.
Yeah. And I agree that those are important things to see, and I do agree that that is a plus from where we're at. All right, guys, I'm going to give y'all mine. My play, I'm kind of on the same boat with Austin in a way, but I think I'm going to switch it up. My play is actually starting Drew Yearwood. Starting
Yes.
Drew Yearwood. Drew Yearwood, I think, has proven himself over the last several games to be a solid midfielder, to really start to lead our team towards the right direction. Again, we're switching some things up. I think out with the old heads, in with the new. Let's really try and embrace that and see where we go. I think that Drew Yearwood is a solid center mid for us. My skip, you guys have both taken my skips. So here it was going to be Dan, the back, line, but Austin, you kind of mentioned that it was, going to be kind of where we were at when it came to how we're finishing in the final third. But I went back to it. I think I'm gonna skip having both Godoy and Davis in the midfield at the same time.
Yep.
They're the same player. There's no reason for us to have that kind of in, with the Taylor Washington Levitz thing. Drew Yearwood has to sub in for one of those two. I think it's going to be a better option for us if we have one of those two in our lineup, but not both.
Yeah.
And then my repeat is our aggression up front, our passing, our possession. My repeat is the way that we are playing in the final third. Not necessarily converting, but the way that we are playing, we are staying aggressive. We're staying on top of it, and it is showing. And eventually goals are going to start falling. Our guys are going to gain confidence. I want everybody to understand that things will fall into place for us. We are still struggling to figure out our identity. We are switching to a more aggressive attacking team. And so we need to really give ourselves that room to embrace that. I think those things are going to fall. I think it's going to continue to roll in the positive way. We need to make sure that we accept that, understand that, and take this loss, on the chin so that we can continue to get wins down the road.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, like you said, I think that the chances are we're gonna find those finishes. Keep creating those chances because, like I said, we got points. 2 out of 3 games in this quick turnaround.
Yeah, and it's gonna continue to play out for us. Luckily, we don't have, I don't think, another match until the 15th. We've got an away match coming up, so we've got a little bit of a break for ourselves. We are losing a couple players for the month of June. However, that's going to give our boys who are not necessarily being called up to shine, and I'm excited to see when those guys come in, and hopefully that is the plan. But we've got some talks about what really is the plan moving forward throughout the season in general, and that's going to come up right after this.
You guys know I be too lit on Wednesdays at Southside Kitchen and Pub, but it does not have to be a Wednesday for you to get too lit with me at any of our away watch parties. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Mixtape615 for all watch party information so you can get in the mix with us, me, Logan, and Ginger Snap. Let's go. And we're back. And we're going to talk about some plans. We're going to talk about what it means for Nashville to have a good outcome for this season. I've been super adamant from the start of the season that this season was going to be the season, right? I said it all throughout the off season. I was like, it's got to be. It's our 5th year. We got to, And well, that idea is, it's been pretty much shot to all get out. We started the season in Champions Cup. We lost that. We lost players to injury. It set us back. We've been dropping points like crazy, and now we just lost to the worst team in the league. And Gary's gone. Our rock, our foundation.
And we signed a player and got rid of him
signed the player and got rid of him without ever really playing them. Like it's been bad, yo. Charlotte SC is chirping at us on Twitter because they're gunning for the belt.
Hey, they can gun all they want. They're still behind in points.
Are they?
Yeah,
I don't think they are, sir. I don't think they are, sir.
We got that tie with Atlanta that helped us.
Yeah, no, man. Let me put it this way, man. It's We'll put a pin in that. We'll put a pin in that. But this is very close to me to being one of the darkest timelines. Like, and I'm not saying that it's like we're right there. I'm not saying that it's like that it is the darkest timeline. I'm saying that like we're on the road, man. We got to make a right or a left. We got to choose.
Roll the dice, hope it lands well.
Yeah, we got to choose which direction we're heading in, man. So we'll see. Austin, tell me this, man. I want to know, is this team, as it is right now, of everything I just laid out for you, is this team attaining playoff berth a win, given everything we just laid out, a win for the season and a good outcome for the season?
If you had asked me at the beginning of the season, I would have said no. Where we are now, I do think that a playoff berth is a win for the season right now where we stand. Now, if we start making big push, we get new manager and things change and he just becomes the savior of Nashville, then I might change my tune and say, no, conference final, that's that or bust, but right now, if we're in playoff position and we make a little bit of a run for a playoff spot, then I think that's a win right now. If we get out of the first round, then that's like, oh wow, we couldn't even do that with Gary, So I think a playoff spot is a win right now.
Woo, the times they are changing. Yeah, man, dude, it's that's crazy. I'm kind of with you in terms of like, you know what, man, just hold the line right now. You've made it back in the playoff contention, which was a struggle for the first half of the season. And somehow we're still in playoff contention. I don't want to admit it, but like I would hesitate to say that's probably a win. Yeah. Logan, what's a good outcome for this season for you?
A good outcome is not what I'm expecting, honestly. And I'm saying this, and obviously we're all huge fans. We're all competitive. We want our team to do well. But I'm trying to look at this season realistically, and I think realistically we have to look at it with where we are. This is going to be a rebuilding season. I think that there are going to be a couple more of our vets that go this year, if not during the year, at the end of the year. I think that we need to understand that without a head coach, without a true leadership, it's hard to know where our direction is going. Other than, hey, when he gets here, when whoever it is gets here, we're gonna start to revamp things at that point, and we got to take that with where we are. It's a rebuilding year. I mean, there's
where
So
the
rebuilding in the
right?
middle of the year.
You know where the rebuild happens, right?
Where?
I just read Weston McKennie might be up for leaving Juventus in the summer. So
here's the thing.
McKennie
would be a great grab.
Yeah,
But I think in order for us to be able
we
to
need
get
to rebuild that
McKennie,
midfield. So
we can get
in order for
McKinney,
us
and then
to be
we
able
just
to
get
get
Klopp to
McKinney,
sign.
There we go.
In order for us to get McKinney, we have to buy down or lose one of our DPs.
Bro, we're not getting Weston McKinney. He's not gonna. He's not gonna help Juventus win.
If we want something like that,
go
though,
to Nashville.
But let's think about it. If we want a true player to come in, we have to create a DP spot for him.
Yeah, if we want to make,
so that means we have to pay down.
Splash, you've got.
We have to pay down for a DP spot.
Who do you pay down?
I mean, who do we got? Who's our cheapest one
right now?
Walker is the answer. Walker is definitely the answer.
Who's our cheapest DP spot right now to buy down? It's not Walker.
Is it Sam?
It's Sam. Sam's our cheapest DP spot to buy down.
Yeah, we're not keeping an international player who was just playing in the EPL. If we're taking away that DP spot and paying him X amount of money. So
but
I think if we want to make a big splash in the summer, I think that Walker is the person that you buy down, or you get rid of Randall Leal, or buy out. We've got some buyouts.
I mean, we
buy out and we open up another international spot, and you make 2 lower international signings that aren't going to take up a DP spot. But that's all. It's all wishful thinking. We've got to find a manager first. We got to find a coach.
Again, without management. Look at all of us. All of us have different ideas on what we can do. It's the blind leading the blind at the moment, and we're not sure what direction we're going in. That's why I say it's a rebuilding year. I think if we stay out of the playoffs, I'm okay with it. I'm not happy, but I'm okay with it. If it means that we are building towards a true cup run next year,
Tunji,
if we're building up for that moment.
I know this is your segment, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Ask me.
So we talked about, playoffs being a win. What do you think is a bigger win, a Leagues Cup run or a playoff berth?
I'll answer you directly, and then I'll answer you directly, and then I'm gonna up the ante. Okay. A bigger win to me is definitely a Leagues Cup, a deep Leagues Cup. I'm talking about all the way to the finals again for a second year in a row. That is a bigger win. You want to know what an even bigger win on this season would be for me? I'll tell you. You got nowhere else to go. You're stuck here with your headphones in your ear. So you gotta listen to me.
Tell me.
All right. Earlier we said that this is you said it was a rebuilding year, Logan. We said that there's nothing we can do until we get this new manager, and we said in the last segment that these guys are figuring it out. This is the win for me this year. At the end of this season, we get a new manager. He comes in with a new amazing vision. He realigns everyone's focus to now we're all going in this, like the team as a whole, the guys on the field, the guys in the front office, the guys in the back office. Shoot, even the guys, the janitors everyone's aligned in saying, hey, this team it can be the best team and will be the best team. And it's not just lip service like what I hear. A lot of times what I hear from Mike Jacobs, I feel like it's lip service. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it.
It's truth. It's truth.
So so I don't really care if we make the Leagues Cup run. I don't really care if we don't make the playoffs. What I want to see at the end of the season is whoever this new manager that comes in, like really, truly, by the end of the season, like it can get ugly. It can get ugly for me. I don't care. But by the end of the season, if he hammers out a brand new identity that the team is bought into, that the players are bought into, that to me is the win. So that means we're going into next season ahead of schedule. Because a lot of times when a new coach comes in, you know, it comes in midway through the season, it's just kind of a throwaway. They're just like, hey, he's figuring it out. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm over here saying, figure it out now, and let's get ahead of the schedule for next year. Because in my mind, I'm sorry guys, the season's it's lost.
So you're saying,
and I hope they prove me wrong.
Create your identity now. Don't try to salvage the season.
Take all the chances to lose 5-0 again. Lose 10-0 for all I care. Take all the chances to figure out what you got and what you need to keep and what you need to boost. And then by the end of the season, if I get that feeling that like, hey man, this guy's got it. He knows who Nashville is going to be. That's a win. Yeah, that's a win.
Again, let's rebuild. Let's see where we can move. Let's take the wins where we can get them.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm here for it. I like those thoughts, Tunji. I really do. But that's gonna wrap another episode of Mixtape 615. Tell us what your takes. What's your win for Nashville this season? Where we are right now. Tell us in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Share this. We are so grateful for you guys for listening and tuning in every week, because we couldn't do it without you guys. We want to give a special shout out though to our ace producer, Doug Branson. This dude is doing all of it to make this happen. So big shout out to him. We can't say it enough. But guys, you need to catch us. Join in with us. Mixtape615.com. We've still got 2024 season scarves that we need to pass out so that you guys can say we run this pitch, that we are hopefully changing that tune with these new manager coming in, with our interim manager right now. We're changing that tune and we are running this pitch. Hit us up on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, X. You can hit us up at Mixtape615. And for all of our video content, you can hit us up on YouTube at Mixtape615pod. But guys, keep it real, keep it vibing. Until next episode, Mixtape 615 is signing off.
Let's go.